Tired of the polished noise of watered-down opinions? We're cutting through the fake, skipping the fluff, and bringing you raw, unscripted truth. Real talk. No filter. Right here on the Savage Unfiltered Show with Michael Gardner.
She's become a star. It's that face, it's that brain, it's those lips, the way they move like she's a machine gun. Is she in the room?
She's in the room.
She's a star, and she's great. She's a great person, actually, but she's, I don't think anybody has ever had a better press secretary than Karoline. She's been amazing.
Mr. President.
So, Karoline Leavitt, folks, is set to leave her role by the end of this month in August. U.S. White House Press Secretary announced that this past Wednesday, where she really didn't give a clear example, but I'm kind of guessing it's going to lead to family stipulations, being that she has a few kids, at the house and everything else, just focusing on becoming a mother. And I mean, kudos to that. So, she is set to leave her role at the end of this month. And I'm going to tell you right now, folks, probably will go down as one of the greatest White House press secretaries in this generation, or most likely probably in the last 30 or 40 years. I mean, the way she handled, the press, whether she was answering questions, she never dodged a question. She always would basically answer it completely, whether the press liked her answer or not. I mean, she was a friggin' a warrior when it came to that. So, yeah, guys, she will be missed. Now, who is going to be replacing her? Well, that's still up in the air. That is still up in the air. Guys, I got a lot more. Don't go anywhere. Be right back.
Savaged all day, every day.
As someone who has a 4-year-old, I can only imagine how little you are sleeping right now. What is your one tip or secret to women who want to have it all, the kids and the hard charging career?
Well, thanks for the question, Rachel, and it is really good to be back with all of you. I don't think there is a secret. You just have to show up every day and keep going, and it really does take a village. Take the opportunity to shout out to my husband, who's home with our babies right now. I look forward to returning home later to be with them, but it's challenging. But for me, I view this as more than a job. I view this as public service on behalf of a president who I firmly believe in everything this administration is doing and really creating a better country for my children and their future, and I'm very grateful for that. Blessed to both be working in this job, but also to have 2 beautiful babies at home. And as you know, Rachel, and any mom in this room knows, there's nothing better than being
Yeah, and I agree with what she's saying, folks. I mean, hey, she's focusing on becoming I wouldn't say a better mother. I think she's doing the best that she possibly can. Basically, more or less going into her age. I mean, yes, she's a young mother. She's in her 20s. And nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Now, for those that are questioning who will be replacing the White House Press Secretary Karoline Leavitt, the president has not yet named a replacement. So a lot of us are going to question that. Well, who will step up to the mantle to replace her? Will we see the same energy from this next possibly woman or man or whoever that may be? Will they have that same drive that Karoline literally instituted to the general press? Now, folks, her departure date will be the end of this month, in the month of August. The next role, transitioning to an outside advisory role for President Trump. So she's not literally, stepping away from politics as a whole. Let me correct that analogy, folks. She's not stepping away completely. She's going into advisory role. Now that could be either remote or it could be a physical role as possibly an office somewhere there in the White House or somewhere around Washington. I would think because of her possibly wanting to step away from the White House press secretary role, she would want more leeway when it comes to leaves, parental leaves or family leaves to tend to her children or family. I could possibly see that's probably why she was going into this direction. But again, folks, the replacement status, undetermined, not yet announced. So a lot of questions, folks. A lot of questions. Who will replace her as the White House press secretary? Now, President Trump basically announced this past Wednesday and made that announcement in a post on Truth Social. He said Leavitt is leaving to spend more time with her children and family, calling it a decision I totally understand and respect. Now, Leavitt, folks, being 28 years of age, will, like I said, move into an outside advisory role, the president said. He also described her as an influential voice within the Republican Party. You've seen that, folks, as I kind of opened up the program here today. Basically, more or less given props and kudos to her presence when she was the White House press secretary. I mean, that's pretty damn impressive, folks. Pretty damn impressive.
Savage.
Now, this is rather interesting, folks. As you could see, I had to put this up. This was the lengthy post that was presented on X, where Leavitt said her decision to leave the White House stemmed from a challenge of balancing the around-the-clock demands as serving as press secretary with raising her two young children. Now, while she described the role as the honor and adventure of a lifetime, she also indicated that she ultimately concluded she could not devote the necessary time and attention to both the job and her family. You have to remember something, folks. When you're serving the president, you're also representing the most powerful and highest position in government. You are representing him, okay, and answering any questions from the general press that may direct from the president. And you're also directing some of the messaging coming from either the president or the vice president to the general press. So you have to understand something, folks. This is a very, very, very important position to hold. Probably one of the most important positions in the entire administration of any presidential administration. I mean, I have to kind of put that out there. I mean, it's an important one, folks. Now, also going into the departure, right, from the administration as a small little hole. I want to say that small little hole, okay? Though departing from the administration as the White House press secretary, Leavitt said Trump had asked her to continue serving as an advisor outside the White House. He basically more or less put that as a suggestion. You know, I mean, I could see him basically having that conversation right now, um, with Leavitt. You know, kind of paraphrasing maybe a little bit of how he basically maybe have said it. You know, you did a tremendous job as White House press secretary. I feel that you would serve an excellent part as an advisory. I mean, because she's a very smart young lady. I mean, again, folks, she's in her mid to late 20s. And just think of the success that she has already accomplished, let alone as the press secretary. Can you imagine some of the success she would bring onto this new role if it does go to that avenue? Now, I'm not sure if Leavitt basically agreed to that because it was kind of put out as a pledge to remain a vocal advocate for both the Republican Party and the MAGA movement. Basically adding that her political fight is entering a new phase, but it is far from over. I mean, this woman fought like literally tooth and nail when it came to dealing with the deep state establishment media, more or less, if you want to kind of put them in that aspect. I mean, this woman was like balls to the wall, man. No one fucked with Karoline. I can tell you that right now, damn now. Everyone was shot down. Include Peter. You know who I'm talking about, folks. Right? But basically, to kind of go into more of this whole story here with Leavitt, she had just returned recently, folks, if you remember that, following her post of having her second child this past May. She stepped away, and then you kind of seen a little bit of President Trump and Vice President J.D. Vance coming in and, you know, handling questions and here and there. So, she was put on maternity leave, having her second child this past May, and then worked as a spokesperson for MAGA, which was the super PAC supporting Trump, before joining his 2024 campaign staff. I mean, to kind of go, through a lot of, what she has basically accomplished. I mean, she's done a lot, folks, already. So, I mean, nothing to be ashamed about. Nothing to be ashamed about. I mean, she's pretty impressive to where she has gone through that important role. Now, I also want to touch on this, folks. Does everybody remember in 2022, she ran for Congress just about 4 years ago in New Hampshire, which also winning the Republican primary before losing to the incumbent Democratic Representative Chris Pappas. There we go. So she won the primary there in New Hampshire, but then she lost to the Democrat Chris Pappas. So, I mean, she does have a vocal point, vocal influence, so to speak, in politics all around. And that's another question. I mean, if she were to step away completely now and literally not take that proposal from President Trump to basically, still have some part of maybe influence or some part of presence within the administration, could you see her becoming some form of an advisory to the president of the United States? Would you support that? Or would you want her to step away completely, focus on family, focus on being a mom, raising her 2 small children, and then possibly come in and see where she, falls in with the political scene maybe a few years later? I mean, because, she's still young where she can kind of like fade away a little bit, focus on family, and then possibly come back into the political sphere, so to speak, a couple of years later. Maybe run for, Senate, run for, Congress again, do something. Maybe become a city council member. There's a lot of options for her. And I feel that because of her popularity and the way she expresses herself on the public stage, she's not going to fold and just give up. She's probably taking this time, like I said, to, focus on her family. Folks, we got a lot more here on the show. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after these
Savaged
short words.
all day, every day.
Alrighty, guys. Welcome back to the show. Now, I want to go into this one particular sequence, so to speak. All right, let's play it out a little bit. Let's focus on possibilities, potentials, this and that. Now, Harris Fields, which is the White House principal deputy press secretary, could be viewed as the most conventional choice, more or less. Does everybody know who Harris Fields is? Pretty good vocal voice when it comes to handling the press. Doesn't really dodge any questions. Not your typical, Peppermint Patty or, the token lesbian, of the Biden administration. None of those people, folks. I mean, pretty solid when it comes to possibly the replacement. Now, could Harrison Fields be the replacement? Possibility. Elevating a deputy press secretary to the top role would provide continuity for the briefing operation and allow the administration to maintain a experienced spokesperson already familiar with the White House press corps, right? But other possible contenders, include White House Communications Director Stephen Chung, a longtime Trump advisor and spokesperson known for his combative defense of the president. Meaning this guy, Stephen is willing to just throw the political missile at the press, right? All pun intended. I mean, he I've said this numerous of times, on this show. I do see Stephen as a potential choice, as a replacement for Karoline. The female version of Karoline, so to speak. I've said this on X Spaces. I've even said this on my podcast several times, folks. I could see Stephen being the replacement. I really can. I think he would be an excellent choice. Now, there's also other possibilities of Taylor Rogers, right, which is a senior communications official who previously worked on Trump's campaign. But, on how Trump handles choices, he usually tends to go to people that are loyal to him, people that would represent him well, okay? People that would not dodge the questions, but answer the questions appropriately. All right. He's not a president where he wants people pivoting, constantly pivoting. If you know what I mean, we seen that with Peppermint Patty. We seen that with the token lesbian. We seen that under the Biden administration several times. Janine Pierre, right? You know who I'm talking about, the token lesbian. Got my names all fucking mixed up today, guys. I do apologize. She would pivot. And that's something that you didn't see with the Trump administration. Leavitt, where's my words today? I need a glass of water, folks. Leavitt, she would basically answer the questions on the best abilities that she knew, of knowledge that she knew from the administration, the president of the United States, okay? Some were answered appropriately. Some were answered and the press didn't like them. I mean, it was just simple as that. But, I mean, could you see this Rogers guy who previously worked on the Trump's campaign stepping in? High possibility. But there are other two choices here. Okay, there's a lot of choices, a lot of options that we may see in the coming months leading up to the end of this month when Karoline steps down. We could see Assistant Press Secretary Liz Houston coming in, right? Okay, maybe. But let's not forget about the longtime Trump aide, Margot Martin. Now, Margot is the woman that is always handling social media activity, videos here and there, this and that. I could see that. He's commended Margot several times on both his campaign and his tenure as president so far, on a remarkable job that Margot has done for the administration. I could see Margot coming in. Yes, I can. Because speaking of one of the president's closest communication advisors, this also could also be an indicator for a possible promotion. We could see Margot coming in. Okay? I've said this several times, folks. Where Trump has occasionally favored loyalists with strong television and media credentials. And Margot has that. She has all the accolades. She has all the credentials, meaning an outside selection from a conservative media or a broader MAGA movement supporter. Folks, that can't be ruled out. I don't care however you take it. Because I know damn well I'll have a lot of leftists that tune into this show, and they'll be like, of course, he wants a MAGA supporter. He wants to. Well, I mean, would you want somebody that's not going to represent you well? I mean, seriously, folks, that's kind of a little idiotic if you ask me. I mean, come on. Seriously. Who's to say? But, however, White House press secretaries have traditionally been drawn from within the administration's communications team. In recent history, and past administrations have always more or less traditionally select secretaries within the communications team, including the Biden administration, the Obama administration, going back to even the George W. Bush administration, as far back as the Clinton administration. I can't remember any type of press secretary coming from the direct communications team. I'm talking about people outside of that team. Okay? Really. I mean, you want to fact check me, that's fine. I've never seen anything coming out of that team, really. But I want to go into this here now, folks. I kind of want to, change the gears a little bit here, and I kind of want to go into what we've seen this past May with possible rumors following the birth of Caroline's second child, okay, where she took that maternity leave this past May. We all thought that was going to be the end of Karoline Leavitt. She was going to step down completely, and we were going to have a full-blown replacement right there. Folks, you're not alone. If you were thinking that, I was thinking that too. I was thinking that as well as Marco Rubio, because Marco Rubio was taking questions as a possible Leavitt replacement in a White House briefing. Does everybody remember that? Going back to, I believe it was, what was it, January? Around May 5th. Now, I got to remember there for a minute. Around May 5th, Rubio did answer questions from the general press if Karoline was going to leave the position of the White House press secretary. Okay? Because that was at basically the tension of the Iran war at the forefront. And there was a lot of of course there was controversy, there was tension. Yeah, that was there. But that question did come up during that whole segment with the forefront of the Iran war. Okay, because that was the Iran and U.S. exchange fire that came out during the Project Freedom. Everybody remember that, which was the effort to guide some ships through the Strait of Hamas. Okay, but there was a slight question coming up. Okay, where he kind of goes into here, and I have to kind of paraphrase a little bit as it was going down there. Okay, right there, right after that one part with the Iran statement, Rubio then goes into saying that Leavitt started her maternity leave at the end of April ahead of giving birth to her second child. Okay. At that point, folks, there was no specific person selected to take over the role, okay, while she was gone. But there was a lot of rumors basically indicating that she may have put in her recognition, her time. That's it. I'm done. So, a lot of questions, folks. But I'd like to know what's going to happen in the coming of weeks. I really do, folks, because Karoline will be missed as press secretary. The woman was full of energy, but you got to respect her as a mother and as the choice that she made to take care of her family and focus on being a mother. Much respect. Yeah, folks, I'm a little choked up about it because, I mean, it's not like every day you see, anybody come in and handle that position beautifully the way she handled it. I mean, wow. Great stuff, guys. Anyway, guys, this is the Savage Unfiltered. Thank you very much for joining. Leave your comments on all of our platforms, whatever you're viewing us on, whether it's Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Music, Amazon Music, the list goes on, including our video platforms on YouTube, Rumble, and including some content we put on Facebook and X. I'd love to see your comments on how you see this and how you view this, and what you believe, or what you think, or see, guys, I'm going there again. Who do you think will be the new press secretary? Well, it's a big choice, guys. Thanks very much, guys. Till next time, we will see you on Friday tomorrow for our Savage 10. I got a lot to talk about on flock hammers. That's right, guys. Flock hammers. They're all over the place, but people are going bananas over them. So join me on that show, guys. Very, very heated topic, of course. And then we'll see you this Saturday, folks, for our Saturday programming. Till next time, guys, take it easy.
This had been a Truth Productions media episode. Thank you for listening.